What's new? Get ready.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 27 of the Play to Win podcast, a show where we break down weekly gaming news to in-depth discussion. My name is Kieran, and I'm, of course, joined by my awesome co-host, Tyler. Just as a quick reminder, you can find timestamps in the video description down below, as well as all podcast episodes have that. So if you want to skip around, go right ahead. Tyler, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well. It's funny you like threw that in there real quick because I feel like if you did, you might have forgotten. Just like I kind of almost forgot last week, but I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for asking.
Good. I'm glad. I'm also doing pretty well. I've had a not so well semi-busy week, I guess.
Yeah, same here. But I think got a little something here that we'll talk about later that I keep forgetting to post on social media. I meant to post it on my Twitter and completely forgot to. So I'll just post it on my Twitter after we're done recording this. And if you see it on Twitter before this episode goes live, you know what I'm talking about. If not, then you'll just wait till we get to that point in the show.
Yeah. And just before we get into the news, we have some housekeeping. First off, go to our website, playtowingames.wordpress.com. It's a home for all our content. We have written reviews up there. You can look at our review policy and go check it out. It's a pretty fun website, we think. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Play2Win Game, where you get updates on the show. We post random stuff. I posted a picture on Instagram yesterday of me washing my car, asking what everyone else was doing on Friday.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, go check out our social media. And while you're watching here on YouTube, click the subscribe button and take notification bell so that you know when new videos go live, like Tyler's video on Twisted Metal that went up yesterday. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
I guess I could talk about it a little bit right now. I mean, it's also part of our brief mentions, but so I guess I'll talk about it a bit more there. Yeah. But yeah, did a video on Twisted Metal. It's reported to be coming back, and just kind of my thoughts on the whole matter and everything. It's interesting. It's a really interesting situation.
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet because I'm a bad co-host, but I'll do it later, I promise.
I mean, we'll talk about it some later on, so don't worry.
Yes, so that's kind of all our housekeeping out the way. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about Bungie making great internal changes at their company. PlayStation has officially acquired Bluepoint Games, and Twitch is taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, which we'll get to all that after our brief mentions, which we have a number to go through. So I'm just going to get right into it. Tyler, as always, put your hand up if you have anything to talk about.
Of course.
So Konami is apparently working on Metal Gear, Silent Hill, and Castlevania games. It's as much as I put there because that's all we really know. Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin will release on the 18th of March 2022 if there are no delays further down the road. A demo is available now, so if you want to go and try that game, you can go and download the demo.
Yep. Also, real quick, this is the second version of the demo. So there was an earlier version of the demo that came out a couple months ago. I talked about it in the show and everything. This is a new version of the demo. I'll talk about it some more later on as I did play it, but it has some new stuff in it. So it has the old stuff and there's some new stuff there too.
Awesome. Speaking of Bluepoint Games, the Demon Souls remake has sold over 1 million copies, which congratulations to Bluepoint. That's pretty dang good.
That is very good. It's just more good news for them, as we'll talk about later.
Yeah. Tango Gameworks are already working on their next game after Ghostwire Tokyo. Some new Switch Pro rumors came out that apparently they had given 4K dev tools to developers, and then Nintendo came out and said, no, we haven't.
Yep. Yeah. Bloomberg kind of broke this report out and stuff. And I think one of the devs they talked to was Zynga and stuff. They were like, yeah, we got 4K dev kits, to make 4K games for the Switch and all. And they were like expecting their games to release in the second half of 2022. But if I'm right, like plans change, or basically like this came out and then Nintendo was like, no, we're not doing that. We are not doing that thing. Yeah. And it's just like, when I saw this, I saw a lot of people on the timeline, like, basically everyone was just like, come on, are you kidding me now? Like, are we doing this again?
Yeah.
Again. And I tweeted out myself the gif from Pacific Rim of Idris Elba's character saying, reset the clock. So it's back. We're doing this all over again.
Apparently. Monster Hunter Rise will be coming to PC in January of 2022. A demo is coming on October 13th, so keep your eye out for that. Amazon's MMO New World is actually a smash hit. Apparently, there have been queues to get into the game because it is so popular, which is a surprise, mainly because it's by Amazon.
Basically, it's just like, hey, they've had a string of failures, and this is their first smash hit and all. And you know what? Good for them.
Exactly.
Good for them. Especially with an MMO, a very hard genre to like have a great smash hit with, like right out the gate. So good on them for that. Hopefully they can have continued success with it.
Yeah, I agree. Amazon deserve a break after their months and potentially years of development troubles for all of their games.
Yep.
A few Xbox things. Xbox Cloud Gaming is now available in Australia, Japan, Mexico, and Brazil, which is cool. Xbox Cloud Gaming is also now available for on consoles for insiders. So if you're in the Xbox Insider program, you should now have access to cloud streaming on your console, be it Xbox One or Series XS.
Woo-hoo!
Scarlet Nexus and Marvel's Avengers are now available with Xbox Game Pass. They kind of shadow dropped Scarlet Nexus into Game Pass when they were like, hey, it's available now. And Marvel's Avengers joined on the 30th. So if you were interested in either of those games, go play them on Game Pass.
Yep. There's one more as well that's on Game Pass that they dropped the same day as Scarlet Nexus. I believe it's AI, the Somnia Files or something like that. That one also dropped on Game Pass the same day as Scarlet Nexus, but Scarlet Nexus was the one getting all like the press and headlines because it's Scarlet Nexus. And that's super cool.
Yeah. The games with gold for October have been revealed. You can claim Aero between October 1st and 31st. Hover between October 16th and November 15th, which was my birthday.
Hey.
Castlevania Harmony of Despair, which is a 360 game, from October 1st to the 15th. And another 360 game, Resident Evil Code Veronica X, from October 16th to 31st. Again,
nice. Not
a great month.
I know we're trying to keep it moving here with these, but I have to say, I've never said it before, but I just can never, I don't understand why Games with Gold does the dates the way they do. Like, just do it for a full month. It's just like, you got to remember, like, all right, does this one start at the beginning of the month, or is it the end of the month to the next month, or the end of the month to the middle? Like, it's just so confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just needs to be more straightforward.
Yeah. Just on that note, if you want to hear the dates when they'll be available again, rewind this video by like 30 seconds. In PlayStation news, PlayStation Plus games for October have been revealed. You can claim Mortal Kombat X, PGA Tour 2K21, and Hell Let Loose. I believe, which one's the PS5 one?
Hell Let Loose.
Okay. So yeah, you can claim all of those now with PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Like we mentioned a couple minutes ago, Twisted Metal is reportedly being revived by Lucid Games, who are the makers of Destruction All-Stars. I will hand this over to Tyler because I haven't looked into this a whole lot, and Tyler has.
Yeah, so basically, VGC had a report that this is a thing that's happening. It's reportedly supposed to be coming out in sync with the 2023 TV series that's also in the works, and it's kind of being based around like a free-to-play model for this reboot and everything, which I think makes sense. I didn't say that in the video, but I think that does make sense for this game, given the gaming landscape and all. I think a free-to-play model for a Twisted Metal game will work pretty well in that game's favor. And I saw I saw people saying, Lucid Games, Destruction All-Stars was kind of not it. It was kind of just like it was supposed to launch for $70, and they said, no, it'll be free on PlayStation Plus. And they're like, yeah, we're going to drop the price to $20 as well, actually, too. All good things. Like the game, like I said in the video, it's not a bad game. The game at its core is fine, but it's just lacking. Like the gameplay itself lacks depth, and it gets boring pretty quickly. And just the act of like smashing into other cars is really not all that fun or exciting in the game. But it has the personality and it has the potential there to be something really great and all. So because of all that, I think that Lucid Games, like, I understand the caution behind them being the ones doing Twisted Metal, but I think that they have the potential to do Twisted Metal well. And I think Sony sees that potential in them, because I don't think they would give Lucid Games Twisted Metal, an IP that many people really like and is beloved to a lot of people. And that name, it has pressure. It means something. You give that to someone, it puts pressure on them, just like with Silent Hill. And then in like this day and age, you give Silent Hill to someone or Metal Gear to someone, it's just like, whoa, you got some shoes to fill right there. So I don't think they would give Lucid Games Twisted Metal if they didn't see the potential there, and if they didn't think that they could do it, as well as, help guide them some more, and as well as Lucid Games also taking the learnings from their mistakes with Destruction All Stars to Twisted Metal. That was my thoughts on it and stuff.
Yeah, if you want to hear Tyler's extended thoughts on it, go watch the video that went live yesterday.
Yeah.
Evo 2021 is cancelled, Evo being the fighting tournament event. And an in-person event will return in 2022.
Makes sense.
Yep. Overwatch 2, Bastion and Sombra are both getting reworks. It's important to note, Overwatch 2, published by, or made by Blizzard, should I say, who are currently being sued for a whole slew of horrible things that we'll talk about in just a second as our last brief mention. But Bastion's rework, Bastion will now be able to move around the map in sentry mode.
I saw a video of that. I was just like, wait, what now? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, dear God.
Apparently, this is according to Blizzard, apparently to help from making it too overpowered, Bastion will have a similar speed, I believe, to his old ultimate, because he's getting a new ult in Overwatch 2, and it will be on a cooldown, so you can't just turn into sentry mode and then go around the map forever. Which I'm still very much against. Like, you can put all the nerfs on it you want. Do not allow him to move while in sentry mode. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, I gotta look more into that. That's a bit much.
Yeah. And then reading from an IGN article written by Jared Moore, saying, quote, perhaps the most notable change for Bastion comes with its ultimate. As part of a complete overhaul, Bastion's tank-based ultimate has been traded out in Overwatch 2 for a brand new artillery mode. When deployed, players will gain a top-down perspective of the map, which they can pinpoint 3 zones that Bastion will then rain down rockets upon, which I think is a much better ultimate for Bastion. I've never been that big a fan of Bastion's ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the Sombra rework, again, reading from the article, saying, quote, for Sombra's rework, Keller, I can't remember his first name off the top of my head, but I believe he's Aaron Keller, yes, who is the director of Overwatch 2. Keller says that her crowd control abilities have been reduced and her potential damage has been increased. Sombra's key ability, Hack, now lasts for 8 seconds and has a reduced 3-second cooldown, but will now include 2 components to it. And quote, the first component of the ability works exactly like it does in Overwatch 1, disabling abilities, says Goodman. However, that effect has been reduced to 1 second. The second component of the hack is a brand new effect that reveals hack targets to Sombra and her team through walls, and it lasts the entire duration of the hack, end quote. It sounds like the second part of that is going to be similar to Widowmaker's ult, where you're going to be able to see people through walls. But this seems like a much more agreeable rework.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I never played Sombra though, so I can't really speak too much about how it'll really play out and stuff.
Yeah, I am not a Sombra main, so I probably am not the best person to speak on that either. However, it is a brief mention, so I'm going to move on to our final one. That being that Blizzard has created an $18 million fund for both current and ex-employees, with any amounts not used for claimants divided between contributions to non-profit organizations whose mission involves advancing women in the video game and tech sectors, or who promote awareness around sexual harassment and gender equality, and further investments in diversity and inclusion efforts at the company that go beyond what we agreed with the EEOC, all of which has to be approved by the EEOC. I can't remember what that stands for off the top of my head. Again, not to get too lengthy about it because it's a brief mention, but I am kind of mad at Blizzard about that, considering that their CEO got paid $155 million a year and they gave just over 10% of that as the fund.
Yeah. I haven't read too much into this story right here. I saw the headlines about it, and I read a bit about it before we went live here and everything like that. I mean, again, with the context of like how much money Bobby Kotick makes on a yearly basis, it's like you could have done more. You could have done more here. Not to say that like what they're doing here isn't good,
No,
or like an admirable effort, in the light of everything that's going on with them, but they could have done a bit. They could have done more here in terms of like money and all like that.
Yeah. I also do like that the remainder will be going to nonprofit organizations.
Exactly.
If you want to read more about that, if you Google Blizzard, I'm sure it will come up.
Yeah.
And that will conclude our brief mentions. So we are going to move on to our first main news story, which is that Bungie is making some great internal changes for diversity and inclusion and also accessibility. So first off, we're going to talk about the diversity and inclusion. I'm going to read a couple paragraphs from this IGN article written by Matt Kim, saying, quote, this is just to provide a little bit of context for the further conversation that we'll have. So quote, mandatory arbitration is an agreement where employees settle disputes with their employers privately instead of in the court system. Forced arbitration clauses prevent employees from suing employers to the legal system and can keep details of their grievances from becoming public. The forced arbitration clause is in place at some of the biggest studios and has been a flashpoint in recent years as companies like Ubisoft, Riot, and Activision Blizzard face unrest over workplace culture. So it's the end of what I'll read from that article by Matt Kim. And I'll go on to a summary of the steps that Bungie has taken and will continue to take. So, as of 2021, 50% of their board of directors is comprised of people from underrepresented communities, and 4 of the 9 executive directors are women or members of underrepresented communities. They've hired a chief people officer and a diversity and inclusion director to strengthen their D&I team. They have removed the mandatory arbitration clause in all employee agreements. They are reviewing hiring practices and documents, as well as investing in tools and processes to remove unintentional bias from the application process and encourage more people, specifically those in underrepresented communities, to apply for a wide range of positions. And they are implementing a third-party anonymous reporting tool for employees to use. So on that range of topics, Tyler, what are your thoughts?
So I think that Bungie is continuing to show that what happened with Activision Blizzard when the lawsuit first came out. They're continuing to show that it is going to have meaningful change across the industry. Because if you remember when, I think it was when the walkouts were happening, Bungie, they put out like a post. I don't know if it was a blog post or just something on Twitter, basically saying, hey, we know we are not perfect here but at Bungie, but we strive to, have an open, welcoming, inclusive environment, workplace, so on and so forth. And we will continue to, try and do better and be better as time goes on. We think we have a good thing here going right now, but of course, we're not going to say that we've never had any tough times or that there still aren't issues that could be fixed now. And I think Bungie speaking out like they did was, being very vocal about it was noteworthy, because you didn't really see any other studios, speaking out about this. I mean, there were some, like you had some employees at Ubisoft, but you didn't really see too many big studios or publishers speaking out and being like, hey, like we as an industry or we as a company just need to do better and we're going to do better and all. So like Bungie's kind of been there on the forefront, on you could say like the proverbial front lines of this whole and being more diverse and inclusive in the gaming industry ever since this whole Blizzard Activision situation started over the summer. So I think that this right here with the diversity and inclusion, this blog post here, is them just kind of showing like, that wasn't just us trying to capitalize on the moment and be like, hey, we're doing good stuff over here. Like it's them, walking the walk, talking the talk, putting their money where their mouth is. And actually showing like, hey, so as of this year, this is what our diversity and inclusion situation looks like. We have this many people from underrepresented communities on our board and in executive positions. We have hired these people to help improve our diversity and inclusion team over here. We're fixing our hiring practices and documents to make sure that we're not being possibly biased in any way, shape, or form. Even if we don't think we are, we're looking over them again to make sure that we're not being biased. We want to bring in as many people as we can and encourage people that are women, that might be African American or Asian, and from all types of different underrepresented communities to come work here at Bungie. And we're also trying to make it so that they can apply in starting positions and senior positions and even in the middle area. It's not just, hey, we're hiring senior people and lead people. It's like juniors and so on and so forth. And then, they have third-party anonymous reporting tool that they have that they're also implementing, which is already on top of, as they said in their blog post, they're like, we already have channels for employees here to use if they, want to anonymously report stuff or discuss stuff. But we're going to be implementing a third-party one that is like not connected, that is not ran by us. It's ran by an outside channel, outside party and all, that employees can feel comfortable using as well to communicate issues back to us. All these different things. It just goes to show like, hey, Bungie is being a leader in this situation. And like in this field, in the industry, they are 100% being a leader. And I wholeheartedly applauded them in this. Like, it was really great seeing this post pop up on my Twitter. And I didn't get to read it until this morning, but I made sure I liked it because I was like, I want to read this. This is great that they have done this, that they're making a blog post about this. And I don't know if you said, but the blog post was by Pete, who's the Bungie CEO.
Yeah.
The CEO is coming out here, putting this post out. And, he says he has a whole lot in here that he says in this blog post about the diversion and inclusion. I don't want to say initiative because it's not really initiative, but like the team that they have and all. And I just I want to read this, the second and third paragraphs here, where he says, if you don't mind me reading them.
No, go ahead.
So he says here, quote, "These past few months have been a sobering reminder for all of us as we hear and listen to the multitude of stories highlighting how good people across our industry have been mistreated. At Bungie, we are committed to fostering a safe and welcoming environment for everyone and to making conscious and constant improvements through listening, self-awareness, improving our workplace and our systems, and by acting on behalf of our people. Inside Bungie, recent news and conversations related to diversity and inclusion in our industry have opened an honest conversation about how we can be better, both as we look to make forward progress and as we examine and acknowledge our past. We aren't perfect and appreciate it when concerns are brought to our attention. For the things we've known about, we've taken action, and we are working to address issues as they come up." And actually, I'll read the next paragraph too, because I think it's a nice little kind of bow on this little segment here. He continues saying, quote, "I know speaking up takes real courage, so I'm always grateful when people come forward. I want Bungie to be the best place anyone can ever work in our industry, and I want to empower people, no matter who they are, where they are from, or how they identify, to do their best work. I know it is critical for us to be transparent, to understand our past, our failings, and to acknowledge them, confronting hard truths and doing our best to repair past harm wherever possible. That is how we move forward," end quote. And he says a whole lot of other great stuff in this whole blog post.
Yeah.
But I really like that beginning section there because, like I said, it just goes to show that Bungie is not just saying these things to try and get, free press point, like brownie points, to get positive headlines. It's like they're saying this because they mean it and they want to be a leader in making the industry a better and safer place for everyone who works in it. And I can't help but applaud them for that and be so proud of them for that.
Yeah, I think it's very refreshing to see a company go to these lengths to be like, hey, we are like, yes, we have made mistakes in the past. No company is perfect, but we are actively working to make significant change within our company to make it a great place to work for everybody. And Bungie is kind of setting the example for the rest of the industry, like, at least in my opinion, like, hey, this is how things should be done. This is how companies should be run. You should be listening to your employees. You should actively be hiring people and setting up, I don't want to call them clubs because that makes them sound a little bit childish, but like setting up places within the company to be able for people to be able to voice their opinions, their concerns, their discomforts in the workplace, and then actively work on those things to make the workplace better for everyone. I think that's sorry, Nico.
I'm sorry, I was going to say real quick. You said, I don't know if clubs is the right word. I think that might be the right word, because in the accessibility post, which we'll talk about in a moment, they also mentioned that they have, it's called accessibility at Bungie, is like, I guess you could say the quote unquote club. They also have Black at Bungie, women at Bungie, LGBT at Bungie, trans at Bungie. And I was like, wow, I didn't know Bungie had those things at the company. So I guess like you could, if you want to call it a club, I don't know if I guess that could be like an appropriate word, because I think that might be how they kind of refer to those things. But yeah, just like, again, continuing on from what you were saying. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're totally fine. Just to kind of go off of that, like, I think club is a perfectly appropriate term for it. Just in my head, I would just like, there's like kids club in the UK, and there's like all these like clubs that are like aimed towards children. That's the first thing that pops into my head.
It just sounds a bit like childish,
a little bit. Yeah, but it's still a perfectly appropriate term to describe, because that's what they are. It's a group of people. So I definitely think that Bungie is setting the example, and I think I almost think that every single company in the video games industry can learn something from what Bungie is doing by them saying, like, this is what we have done so far, this is what we are going to be doing in the future to make Bungie great for everyone.
Right. And I mean, that's also like, that's not to say that other companies aren't doing these things. They probably are doing these things. They're just not putting out statements about it. But the fact that Bungie is being so forthcoming and outspoken about it is what makes it so noteworthy and so important, because it's the fact that Bungie, although yes, they are Bungie. Bungie is a big name. It's a big company. Even still though, they're an independent studio. And I think that is also part of what makes it such a big deal, so noteworthy, is the fact that it's Bungie, an independent studio, saying all this and being so upfront and forthcoming and on the front lines about it, as opposed to a much bigger company such as EA or Ubisoft. I mean, you have the Ubisoft employees, but that's not the same as like the overall, like, you know, the figureheads and stuff. And so on and so forth, kind of being so forthcoming and out there about it. I believe Microsoft has in the recent months and all, but still it's noteworthy and really just, again, important, and just not applauding, but let's like, it's just really great seeing that it's coming from Bungie. And I really hope that, you know, like, I hope that people can look to them as like, yes, they're taking the torch. They're leading with the torch here. Them and like the employees at Blizzard and the employees at Ubisoft, they're all like right there at the front of this fight. And hopefully they just get more people coming behind them. Yeah.
And I definitely agree that that Bungie is doing just really great things when it comes to this. And I wanted to mention kind of like something that you keep saying, which I definitely agree with, that like in terms of like, you know, sexual harassment, discrimination, pay inequality, stuff like that, assume that it happens everywhere until proven otherwise. And I don't think Bungie is entirely exempt from that, because I mean, they've said themselves they're not perfect, and I'm sure there is stuff going on. There's stuff going on behind the scenes that like either nobody's talking about publicly, or they're, you know, keeping close to their chest. But at the same time, I think, like, if, like, assume that it happens everywhere unless proven otherwise. If this is Blizzard, right, where like, just as an example, is very, very bad, and then I would say like Bungie is kind of like slowly moving down this way, where like, because they are being so vocal about like, this is what we're doing, this is what we've done, this is what we're gonna do, And because they have put their money where their mouth is, being like, we're hiring people. We have already hired people. 50% of our board of directors is comprised of people from underrepresented communities. They are slowly making their way towards like the other end of that spectrum, whatever that looks like. But like I said, again, just want to make it very clear, I am not assuming that Bungie is an entirely perfect company that doesn't have any issues whatsoever. But I think Bungie is going to be one of the first companies to get to hear the other end of the spectrum.
Right. I guess you could say like of the big companies. And again, I keep saying this, but I'm going to say it again. What also makes this so great and so noteworthy is the fact that no one asked Bungie to do this or like put out these statements. Like when they put out that first statement on Twitter months ago, like when the Activision Blizzard stuff was really first popping off, they just put that out. No one was like, hey, Bungie's doing terrible stuff or Bungie's been bad or anything like that. There wasn't like reports were about to come out about Bungie. Bungie just said, hey, we're just going to drop this and be like, the industry needs to be better. We have had issues, but we could also be better too. We're not perfect, so on and so forth. Like no one has come at Bungie in any way, shape, or form that I know of about any of this. So it's them just really just being open and honest and trying to improve of their own accord. Like they see that, all right, things aren't that great in the industry. What can we do on our end? How can we look internally? What can be fixed? What can be changed? What can be improved? And let's do that. And let's let people know that we are doing that. And that is just what makes this so great.
Exactly. And I think that's a very good point to end off this section of the Bungie conversation. But we have one more, and that is that Bungie is creating an accessibility inclusion club within the company. I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs from the blog post that they put up. If you want to read the entire thing, if you go to bungienet. Bungie.net. Sorry. If you go to bungie.net, you can read their blog post there. But from that blog post, quote, here at Bungie, we build worlds that inspire friendship, and our goal is to build those worlds for everyone. We want to make everyone feel welcome in our games and at our company, and believe that everyone should be able to participate in our games regardless of their ability or if they identify as having a disability. Not only does that include crafting fun and accessible games for all of the community to play, but it extends to building a welcoming and inclusive environment for Bungie's own team and our guests. To help build that world we want to see, we're happy to announce Bungie's newest inclusion club, Accessibility at Bungie. Its mission is to educate everyone in the company on identifying barriers, to improve workplace accessibility, to make material improvements to the playability of Bungie's games, and to partner with organizations within the game industry who are dedicated to game accessibility. Accessibility at Bungie is proud to have representation from a wide variety of disciplines in its membership. There are people who create systems, interfaces, experiences, audio, and visuals, coordinators of Bungie's talent, and professionals who listen to Bungie's community. Quote, if you do not intentionally, deliberately, and proactively include, you will unintentionally exclude, end quote. This quote from author and diversity and inclusion strategist Joe Gerstant, sorry, I think I pronounced that right, wonderfully encapsulates the need for accessibility at Bungie. And that's the last thing I wanted to read from that blog post, which, again, going back to the conversation we were having earlier, is a very good thing that they are establishing a specific group of people within the company who are focused on making their games, their community, and their workplace more accessible to everyone. And like Tyler mentioned earlier, Accessibility at Bungie is the fourth inclusion club alongside Black at Bungie, Trans at Bungie, and Women at Bungie, which again is no one asked them to do this. Like Tyler said, like no one is saying, like we need more. Except, well, maybe people are saying this, I don't know, but we need more accessibility in the game. And Bungie are like, okay, we're gonna have people at the company who are specifically there to do that.
Yeah, again, like this one was another one where I didn't get to read it until today, but I saw them tweet it out, and I was like, I am liking this because this is great, and also I want to read this later on, so I can actually get the full story and all. And accessibility, that's been a real big hot button topic in the industry for the past few years. I think it kind of, I don't know if I'd say it got brought to the forefront, But I think it got a whole lot of steam when Microsoft revealed the what's it called? The accessibility controller.
Yeah.
I think that's the name of it.
It is.
But when they revealed that, and then they had the commercial for it during the Super Bowl. For those who are not in America, Super Bowl is a big deal, and the commercials that air there cost a lot of money and get watched by a lot of people. So like they had that commercial air during the Super Bowl, and like that just shined a giant spotlight on accessibility. And then you have the popular figures in the in accessibility and gaming in general. One being Steven Spohn, if I'm correct, who I believe is the guy who created Able Gamers. There's also I'm blanking on his name. The Blind Gamer is what he goes by. But I'm blanking on his name. I'm so sorry, I am. But there's the two of them. Those are just the two that I'm thinking of off the top of my head. They've kind of been like, the people at the forefront of accessibility in gaming, like the main figureheads in accessibility in gaming. So, Bungie doing this, you got his name?
Is it Steve Saylor?
There you go. Steve Saylor. There you go. Like Bungie, saying, hey, we have our accessibility at Bungie Inclusion Club. It's great. And then you read some more in the blog, and then they mention like some people here. They have like senior designer Robert Schuster, and how when he joined in February, he was like, all right, what can we do to improve accessibility here at the company? And then I'm going to actually want to read here something that Robert says. He says here, quote, I was hesitant at first to mention to Chris one of my barriers. Fast firing non-automatic weapons like scout rifles and hand cannons cause me hand pain during longer sessions. Why couldn't we have a way to enable auto fire on these kinds of weapons? I braced for a negative response. Instead, he heartily agreed and mentioned it was something he had already been considering as something that we could work toward including in the game. You may have seen rumblings about upcoming changes in this area in recent This Week of Bungie posts, and we hope you'll stay tuned for more updates, end quote. That's a great thing. There's another person here, Drew, player support specialist Drew Tucker, who they say here has been hunting for accessibility issues since joining the company in 2018. And that's why he's he's a founding leader of this inclusion club. So like whenever someone speaks about an accessibility issue, he says here, quote, I always file a bug and discuss the issue with other teams. Some issues are harder to fix than others, but we always take these issues seriously and do our best to address them, end quote. And then he goes on to say, like, he wants to add an accessibility forum. That way players who have these accessibility issues can address them there instead of like putting them in like a bug fix forum or something like that and having it get mixed up and lost in that sea of issues, just giving it its own space. Again, it just shows, Bungie's really trying to be, I keep saying this, a leader, someone at the forefront of and making the games industry as a whole just more inclusive for everybody, whether it be diversity, whether it be accessibility, what have you. They want to be a leader and they want to be an example for other developers and publishers in the industry of this is what we can do, this is what we should do, this is what everyone needs to do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The Bungie is definitely setting themselves apart from a lot of other companies in the gaming industry. Definitely not saying all, because there are other companies who also do amazing things in terms of just workplace environment and accessibility options. I mean, look at The Last of Us Part 2. But
exactly.
But they are definitely setting themselves apart from most other companies, that they are saying, I mean, like you said, like, this is what we need to do, this is what we should do, this is what we are doing. So applause to Bungie. Everything that has come out from them this week has been nothing but good news, and I hope that continues for them in the future.
Exactly.
Which will end our conversation on Bungie, I believe, unless you have any final thoughts.
Nah, I got nothing else. I think that was a good conversation we had on Bungie right there.
Absolutely. Bluepoint Games has officially been acquired by PlayStation and is now a member of the PlayStation Studios family.
It only took, a couple more months after originally being leaked, like earlier this year. And it's funny because on Twitter, Herman Holst, after like the announcement was made, he tweeted out something along the lines of like, one saw that coming, right? Like, everyone was just like, You're funny. You already, you know what
Mhm.
happened. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was cool. I like how they announced it too. Like it was just because I was actually on at my job and I got a little Slack notification. It was like from PlayStation. It said, we have an announcement or something like that. I forgot what it said. I think it said like joining the PlayStation Studios family. I was like, huh, what's this? I clicked on it and it's like the video starts and Herman's like, yeah, PlayStation Studios, we're like this, we do this, and we have someone else joining the family. And then it goes into Shadow of the Colossus. I was like, finally, you finally did it. You finally announced it.
Yeah. Speaking of Herman Hulst, I'm gonna read a blog post on the PlayStation blog written by him, saying, quote, "Today I'm very excited to announce that PlayStation Studios has grown again with the addition of longtime partner Bluepoint Games. From the exceptional PS5 remake of Demon's Souls to the critically acclaimed PS4 remake of Shadow of the Colossus and remaster of fan favorites like Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection, Bluepoint has built a name for itself by crafting some of the highest quality remasters and remakes in the industry. With each of its projects, Bluepoint has raised the bar on console-defining visuals and gameplay, and the studio's vast expertise in world building and character creation will be a huge plus for the future of PlayStation Studios properties." End quote. And under that, they have a little statement from
Marco Thrush.
Marco Thrush, who is the president of Bluepoint Games, who says, quote, "We're thrilled to have officially joined PlayStation Studios. Austin, Texas has been home base for Bluepoint from when we first founded the studio back in 2006, and we're now a team of close to 70 super talented creatives and growing. While the studio has certainly grown over the past 15 years, our cultural beliefs have remained the same: to always push the envelope and create the highest quality games possible, all while having fun doing it. The focus on culture has been instrumental to our success, and we're excited that PlayStation Studios shares a similar culture and vision." End quote. I want to talk about something real quick. Less than 70 developers at that studio, and they made Demon's Souls the remake.
And I mean, again, it just shows how talented they are.
Mhm.
And I think part of it, I mean, as they say in their in the interview they do with IGN, which I mean, I linked it here. I don't think we need to actually go into it. I just put the link here in case you want to go to it. But as they say in there, like their games that they've been working on so far, it's been easier because the blueprint's already there.
Yeah.
In terms of like the game is already made. It's more so just polishing it up, making it look good, making sure it plays good in the modern day and all like that. So I imagine that with the team of like nearly 70 people that they have now, that the games that they've had in the past, whether it be the remakes or remasters, hasn't been too difficult. It's been, pretty manageable. It is still, it will not take it away though. It's still very admirable and applaudable that, we got the Shadow of the Colossus remake that we did and the Demon's Souls remake, again, on an even bigger scale, the Demon's Souls remake that we did with the team that they have.
Mhm.
So I'm super excited to see whatever it is that they do next, especially since they confirmed that their next project is planned to be an original game. So I wonder what that's going to be. And I know for some time, I think it was around the time when Demon's Souls first came out on the PS5. And people were wondering and saying, is Sony going to buy Bluepoint? Sony just needs to buy Bluepoint at this point. And if they do buy Bluepoint, are they just going to have Bluepoint be the remaster and remake studio? Or is Bluepoint going to want to do their own original stuff? Because up to this point, all they've done, as far as I know, are just remakes and remasters.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they've enjoyed doing that. And I'm sure they've had fun bringing these old games to newer consoles, with a fresh coat of paint and all like that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I can also imagine them, wanting to be like, all right, we've done all these great things. We've learned all these things from these different games that we've worked on. Let's put our talents into making our own idea, our own IP, our own original game. Or even if it's not an original IP, just our own original game, whether it be like the next entry in a long dormant franchise or something like that, our own original game. And, that was something people wondered, is that, would they want to do that? Would Sony let them do that? Would they want to keep them as a remaster remake studio? So it's really cool that they're going to be like branching off into doing their own original game now that they're owned by Sony. So they have the full backing of Sony and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm really curious what that original game is going to be. and how well it turns out. And I think this will be like a true test, and it's like a true test at coming out party of Bluepoint's skill. Because again, each of the games they've worked on before now has been either a remake or a remaster. Like I said, the Bluepoint is already not the Bluepoint, the blueprint is already there. As they say, that you're kind of just like polishing it up and stuff.
Yeah,
making your own thing from scratch. It's a whole different beast, which they acknowledge. They acknowledge that in the IGN interview. Like they said, like, hey, it's a different challenge and all like that. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So I think whatever this first project is, the success of it will kind of be like the barometer for how excited we should be for Bluepoint's other projects after that. Like whether we should be like, maybe stick to remasters, remakes, or you know what, you guys are actually really great at what you do.
Yeah. Something you said was something that I was going to emphasize as well, is up until now, they've only made remasters and remakes to the best of our knowledge. And I think that was a very good learning opportunity for their first game. Now that they have it,
exactly.
Again, like you say, the blueprint was already there. So like some of the work was already done. But now that they have experience in like actually developing a game with, the team that they have, is a very good thing going into their first project.
Exactly.
Well, first original project, I should clarify.
Yeah. Especially, like I think Demon Souls was like the perfect, like, I guess you could say final remake or like perfect real test, because I mean, I've only played an hour of Demon Souls. I really want to get back to it. I still have it installed on the system. But Demon Souls is a much bigger game than any of the ones that they remade or remastered before. It's on a whole different scale. And in addition to that, it's a PS5 launch title. It was a PS3 game that they were remaking for the PS5. It's just, I'm sure there's so many other systems in Demon Souls that are not in any of their older games.
Yeah.
Like it's on a whole different scale. It's a different level of like remake. So that being as successful as it was and as great as it was, I think shows that, okay, they got it here. I think that whatever their next game is, whatever it ends up being, I think that we're going to be really pleasantly surprised by what it is and like how good it ends up being. I'm hoping, but I really think that we will.
Yeah, just going off of what they have done so far, I expect good things from them in the future. But again, making their own game versus remaking or remastering someone else's game are two entirely different things. So we will have to wait and see, but I have faith.
Now, do you think that, I mean, they said the next thing is an original game. Do you think that means original IP, or like I mentioned before, a new entry in an older franchise that just hasn't been worked on?
Do you know
what do you
I
think that means?
Do you know what I would like to see them do? Just because it's one of my favorite PlayStation franchises that is now dormant because the developer is working on I would argue, much bigger game. I would like to see them make a new Killzone.
Interesting. That would be interesting. It's funny you say that, because there was like a picture floating around the internet this week. Don't know if it's real or not. Don't know if it's fake, but a picture of Killzone Remastered Collection, which is Killzone 1, 2, and 3, and Shadowfall, remastered for PS5, coming to PC as well next year. I think it had like a time frame, but it said next year. Now, whether or not that's true is a different story.
Yeah.
But if it is true, it shows that Sony might see some potential in bringing the Killzone franchise back. And if Bluepoint is working on it, that'd be pretty cool, I think. I mean, I liked Killzone. I only played Killzone 2 and 3, but I liked it enough. Was it ever like the Halo killer? No, clearly it wasn't. No. But it was good. I liked it for what it was. And I think, it would give Sony a nice little addition to their gaming portfolio and all. Because, most of their games are typically third-person action adventure type games.
Yeah.
Killzone was their first-person shooter, and they haven't had a first-person shooter that was first-party since then. So unless I'm missing something, and I don't think I am.
I don't think you are
Um,
either.
so bringing Killzone back in a new way, I don't know how they would bring it back in a new way, but bringing it back in some way that makes it fresh, like feel fresh, but still
Yeah.
Killzone for the modern day, just like how God of War, it was
Mhm.
fresh new take on it, but it was still God of War at its core. I think that could be cool, and it would give them like a nice little bow. Like, all right, that we got the third action adventure game down on lock. We got that.
Yeah.
Now we got the platformer kind of down on lock with Astro and everything. Now let's get ourselves a first person shooter. And I think Deviation, the team that they're partnering with, I think
Yeah.
they're doing a first person shooter. Probably, I think they said it's a multiplayer game, but it might be a first person shooter. You would imagine it is, given who's at that studio.
Yeah.
But having two first party, in a sense, first person shooters, that'd be cool. It'd be a nice little
Mhm.
way to stretch out, like just open up their portfolio and give it a bit more variety than it currently has or has had for the past generation.
Yeah. And I don't think I'm wrong in saying this, but Killzone was fairly successful. I would imagine. Like, I mean, if,
Yeah,
if
it
it
was
got
liked.
yeah, if it got 4 entries, then I imagine it was, at least it was selling well in order to
Right.
warrant 3 games after the first one. But I I think one Bluepoint would be a good developer to reboot Killzone. Like, I mean, like
Mhm.
you say, like they did for God of War 2018. I think Bluepoint would be a good studio for that. And I also agree that, like, when I think of PlayStation, like, or at least PlayStation exclusives, the first thing that comes into my head is third person action adventure. Considering like
Mhm.
Uncharted, Last of Us, Horizon, God of War, like all
Mhm.
of them. Well, I don't want to say all, most of the like most notable PlayStation exclusives from the last almost decade, I was basically decade, have been third person action adventure games. Like, again, Ghost of Tsushima and Infamous as well. So
Mhm.
first person shooter, I think, would inject some more variety into their first party lineup, which I think they need.
Yeah, and like that's what I was about to say. Like, I don't think it's like a bad thing that PlayStation is known for having the
No,
third
not at
person
all.
action adventure games. I know some people see that as a con, which I get the argument for and against. Like, you could see it as a bad thing. Like, man, like all their games are the same. All their
Yeah.
games play the same. They all look the same, so on and so forth. And that argument isn't totally wrong, but at the same time, I don't think it's 100% true. At the same time, like the games, yes, they are all third person action adventure games, these noteworthy ones, but they all play and feel so very different at
Hmm.
the same time. Um, but again, having a first person shooter there, again, will also just add variety, as you said, and add a bit more for like for a bit of freshness, I guess we could say,
Yeah.
to the first party lineup. I also forgot to mention, um, they did have Resistance. Granted, that was not on the PS4, that was back on the PS3, but Resistance was also another popular first person Sony franchise. Do I think that Bluepoint would bring that back? I don't know. I feel like Sony would, if Sony was to bring back a first person franchise, shooter franchise, it would probably want to be Killzone as opposed to Resistance, probably because I think Resistance, it's Resistance was made by Insomniac. And Insomniac, again, known for their very creative weapons and all. And I never played Resistance, but I know it has some really creative weapons. And I think if you bring Resistance back without Insomniac behind it, people then worry about, is the creativity with the weapons going to be there?
Yeah.
And like just all that stuff. If you bring back Horizon, I mean, if you bring back Killzone without Gorilla, I don't think people will care as much.
No.
Because Killzone was kind of just like, I don't want to say your generic military shooter, but it
Yeah.
was your standard military shooter and all, with the brown, all the brown and everything.
Yeah.
3 kind of rectified the brown a bit, but 2, it was just like brown everywhere. Um, so yeah, I don't think there's like, neither of those series has baggage behind them. And I mean, I think it's also pretty clear that both teams behind the original series, though, Guerrilla has moved on from Killzone, Insomniac has seemingly moved on from Resistance. I think that I don't think either of those teams wants to go back to either of those franchises anytime soon. So if Sony wanted to get someone else to do them, they easily could. I just think Killzone will probably be the one that they go with more.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly they saw more potential in Killzone than Resistance, because Killzone was at the launch of the PS4.
Yeah.
And Resistance was nowhere to be seen. So
yeah, we will have to wait and see what Bluepoint are working on for their first original game, be it new IP or new entry in long-running franchise. And our final big story this week, like I mentioned before, is that Twitch is taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. We're going to talk about the 2 steps forward first, that being that they are introducing a new way that people can, or a new way that streamers can control the people who are in their chat. So Twitch announced via a blog post that they're implementing a new, quote, phone verified chat tool, in which streamers and mods can require chatters to have a verified phone number in order to participate in the stream chat. You can have up to 5 accounts verified on one phone number, and if one account gets suspended site-wide, all accounts associated with that phone number will also be suspended. And you cannot verify a new account with a phone number that is already suspended. The same can be said for accounts banned for specific channels. So if I banned an account on my channel and there was 4 other accounts associated to that number, all accounts would be banned in my channel. You can opt to have subscribers, VIPs, and moderators exempt from phone verification, and you cannot use a landline or a voice over internet protocol or VoIP device. Twitch is also making changes to the email verification process, but did not detail what these are. This is a very good thing. They are implementing something that is actually going to have some impact on how, I mean, obviously people are probably going to find a way around it, like they always do if they are that insistent on causing hate and discomfort to others. But this is something that is actually going to have some amount of change in people's ability to harass or inflict negative emotions on others.
Yeah. That, as I think it's also important to note that an email could also be used for the verification, and in addition to or instead of the phone number. And if I'm right, they said in their blog post that the same rules that apply for the phone verification also apply to the email. So if you put your email on one, like multiple accounts, and that email gets banned from the chat, all the accounts, if I'm correct.
So I just want to interject with one quick thing. I forgot to put in here, and that it is up to the streamer whether you have phone verification turned on. So you can go into your settings in your streamer dashboard and enable or disable that if you want to. It's not enabled by default.
Yes, that is also important to note. But yeah, this is great. Like we said before, we kind of first talked about the hate raid, just, I don't want to say epidemic, but just like the massive amount of hate raids that were happening on the platform, and how people were kind of like really disappointed and upset with how Twitch was handling it, because they were, they were doing the walkout on Twitch, the day off Twitch or whatever they called it. Like we said back then, these things take time. No one was expecting Twitch to just overnight be like, and here's your solution.
Yeah,
we got it for you. Like, these things take time, but it was the fact that Twitch wasn't really saying anything about like what their plans were to try and address the situation. They weren't really doing anything, to kind of reassure people, hey, we know this is an issue. We are doing what we can to handle it. Give us time and all of that. It was kind of being quiet about it. And because of that, people were getting annoyed and fed up. They were like, you know what, we're done with this. We are all taking a day off Twitch. So like they even say it in their blog post. So like, this has been in the works for a while. This has been in the works for months. We've been planning this, testing it, and it takes time. We're sorry it took us so long. Thank you for the patience with us and everything like that. And they even say, like you said, this is not a guaranteed solution. Like, it is just an additional measure for you all to take to try and prevent this from happening to your channels. And from the reception I saw on Twitter, the day that this went live for the streamers I follow, and then today when I read their blog post and I went through the quote tweets on Twitter, it was just literally just overwhelming, like, praise and thank you. Like, thank you. Finally, you did this. Oh my gosh, I'm doing this right away. Do this right now, guys. Go do this. Go do that. Like everyone just seems to be so happy with this, so happy that Twitch is finally implementing a measure that actually seems like it will really work and really curb a lot of like the hate raids and harassment that people have been dealing with. And Twitch does say like, um, this isn't going to be a foolproof thing against follow botting. Follow botting, people can still probably get around that. But it's just again, it's just another measure to slow down people that will be doing the follow botting and deter the people who have been doing that and all the hate rating and harassment and so on and so forth. So it's a really great move. I'm happy that they finally got this out there. And I think we'll have to we'll need like a few weeks to go by to get people like streamers takes on it and how it's been working for them over like the next 2 weeks or so. Like, is it working well for them? Are they having issues with it? So on and so forth. But as of right now, this is great. It's a really good move. And it's, took some time. Again, it did take some time. They could have been more transparent, but good on Twitch for this one.
Yeah. Two things to kind of add on to what you said. One of the reasons that popped into my head is to like why they might not have announced this or like talked about it before they announced it and were like, hey, we're doing this, is so that people can, in preparation for this, like think of ways and like program bots or something to get around this, is like one thing in my head.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think that anyone would have expected them to say, we're working on this specific method. I think people just wanted them to say, just to be transparent, like, we hear you. We are working on something. And as far as I know, Twitch didn't say, we are working on something. They were just kind of like, we stand with everybody and hate has no place on our platform. It's like, we know, okay, but you're not saying anything else. You're not saying you're doing anything as far as I know. So yeah.
And the second thing is one way that I think people can get around this if they are determined enough.
Hold on. Don't go spreading methods
well,
out here.
I mean,
don't go spreading methods out here that people could use. Don't do that. I'm gonna pause you right there.
Yep, that's a fair point. I'll probably edit
no, you can keep this in here. You can keep it in. Don't need to edit that out. But we're not doing that.
Yeah. In other news, for Twitch, moving quickly on, something that people are not very happy about is they are going to be implementing a, air quotes, pay to boost feature in which viewers can pay to boost the visibility of their favorite streamers. They did not announce pricing or when this feature will be launching for everyone. Only that a select few channels currently have access to this feature. And I'm going to save these points for our discussion afterwards because that's more of my opinion. But what is your opinion on this?
So I actually haven't read too much about this. I heard about it. I think I maybe read I read a Verge article about it this morning. And my understanding of it is, like, as you said, viewers or like people, channel owners can have an option on their channel, be like, hey, I don't know if like they could put the feature on there or if Twitch will just have it on everyone's channel by default, but only certain people have it on their channel right now. It's like hey, if you want to drop down like this amount of money or this amount of money, it'll boost me up this much so that I get more views, so I get more publicity on Twitch. Yeah. Because like Twitch, it's notoriously difficult to be found on Twitch if you already do not have like a big following on the platform. So I think the good intent is there with this in terms of we want to give people a way to make themselves more visible on the platform, which is a good thing. It's a good thing to try and improve visibility for smaller streamers. But at the same time, it can be abused in a sense where it's just like, we're just going to pay to put you on the front page. And that's how you get, become popular and, seen and all like that. Yeah. And it can definitely seem a bit skeevy and shady, or I don't know if shady is the right word, but I guess slimy. Yeah. And like a little sneaky way to just be like, hey guys, if everyone donates like $10, I could get on the front page and then we'll do this and I'll do this for you guys if you all get me to the front page. Like, it's definitely good intention, but maybe needs to be rethought. I'm really not too sure how I feel about it. Again, I'm also really not someone who goes on Twitch, nor am I a Twitch streamer. So my opinion on this is not like the
Yeah.
best. It doesn't have the full coloring of someone who's always on Twitch and always uses the platform and stuff.
Yeah.
But just my understanding of the platform, my understanding of this thing they're implementing, doesn't seem all that great.
Yeah. And my opinion, I think is somewhat similar to yours, where I think it's good intentions, but it's a bad idea. I don't think that it's. I mean, in the Kotaku article that I linked to in the doc, I'm not going to go into it because I remember. I'll paraphrase what they said, but it's like it's going to benefit already established creators more because their bank accounts and their audiences and viewership are already higher. So this is going to be a more accessible feature to them. So rather than, the intention is to help small streamers get discovered, but I feel like it will be taken over by medium to large size streamers who, can afford to put a bunch of money into this and get themselves boosted up to the top. Which like I said, like you said, good intention, I think bad idea or bad implementation, I'll say. And the last 2 points I have in here, which again are kind of like more of my opinion than like fact, I guess, is this is another way to line Twitch's pockets instead of the pockets of their content creators, and that we are getting close to a quote straw that broke the camel's back moment, as Twitch has been implementing many features that are the opposite of what streamers on the platform want, and it appears to me that Twitch is out to make as much money as possible by any means possible. And the reason I'm saying that is they implemented cheaper subscription prices in certain countries. I know in the UK, I think the subs dropped by like £1. Twitch still takes the same amount of money and pays the streamer less, which they already took 51% in the first place rather than 49%. They implemented a feature where you can subscribe to a channel, and then afterwards be like, you can go onto like a form and say, no, I want a refund for my subscription because I just wanted a shout out, which I think is a really crappy thing to do, especially like as the people who are meant to be making this platform more enticing for new people. Like I mentioned when we were talking about Dr. Lupo, and I think, was it Tim the Tatman or another streamer? I can't remember.
Maybe that sounds about right.
Are leaving the platform for YouTube gaming. I think I had said in that point, like, you are going to need to implement new features to bring new people in to replace your biggest streamers who are leaving, because Tim the Tatman and Dr. Lupo were two huge streamers on Twitch, two of the biggest, and now they are on YouTube. So they are going to need to implement new features to bring in new people to replace them. And then now they are implementing a thing of like, hey, we're gonna charge you money instead of implementing discoverability options or an algorithm similar to YouTube has. We're gonna instead charge you money to boost your viewership or the viewership of your favorite streamer up on our website, and we are going to take all that money and give none to the content creator. So if I ever go back to streaming, I am probably not going to go back to Twitch, because they have made, as much as I commend them for tackling, or at least attempting to tackle, like the hate raids and like follow botting and stuff like that. As much as I commend them for that, and I think that they are doing somewhat of a good job with that right now, they have implemented so many features and shown me so many times that they are out to line their pockets by any means necessary. The thing that really got me the most was paying streamers less for subscriptions, because Twitch is owned by Amazon, which is valued as $1 trillion company. So why, in the first place, the content creator is the person bringing in that money to your platform. So why are you paying them the lower half of the subscription fee. That is not fair and does not make any sense to me whatsoever.
It's because Bezos is just trying to make Twitch go from $1 trillion company to a gazillion dollar company.
It's because he wants to build himself a new rocket to go further into space.
Send him off to a whole new galaxy.
But yeah, kind of wrapping up my point. I'm probably not going to go back to streaming on Twitch just because the more they announce new stuff, the less I'm like, yeah, I agree with the decisions you're making.
Yeah. I mean, YouTube streaming, your VODs get saved automatically there. So you don't got to worry about them disappearing.
And I'm
just saying, I don't know if he was going to YouTube. I'm just saying, there's a pro to YouTube YouTube streaming.
Yeah, exactly.
VODs are saved right there.
Yeah.
Never go away.
Not that I'm saying that, YouTube gaming or Facebook gaming or whatever are like perfect places to stream and they do everything right and they give so much thought to their create. Like, no, that's not true either. They are just, in my opinion, a more favorable platform to stream on than Twitch.
Have you heard of the streaming site called Mixer? You ever thought about trying that one out?
Yeah. I think Microsoft might have something against that, but I'll talk to them.
You think they do? I don't know. I thought it was doing pretty well. And I know that like that guy Ninja went over there. I mean, he left there, came back to Twitch, but I know Ninja was over there for a bit. Mixer was doing some good stuff. How does that one sound?
You can find Mixer at www.cancel.com. Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts on the Twitch stuff, or do you want to move on?
Nah, I don't got anything else to say about Twitch stuff.
Okay.
Doing some good stuff and everything, doing some kind of shady stuff over here. It's a normal day. Well, no, I don't want to say normal day. Normal day for Twitch is just kind of not getting things right. It's a better day for Twitch, but marginally better, I guess.
Yeah, but hey, they announced the dates for TwitchCon next year, so woohoo, I guess.
I don't know what those dates are, but good for them.
I don't know them off the top of my head. If you want to look at it, it's on Twitch's blog. We are going to go on to what we have been playing. As much as I only have one game and I don't really have a lot to say about it, we're going to start with Tyler.
No. We're going to start with you because I want to hear your thing first. Because I have like a fair amount to say, I guess. I just want to hear about what you got to say first because you only got this one thing. I got 3 things.
Okay.
So let's just hear what you got to say first.
Okay. Well, finally, after almost 3 years of the game being out, it's been out for 2 years and 10 months. I finally bought Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Switch. I've
one of us.
Like I've wanted the game since it came out. I've just like for most of the time that I didn't have it, I was unemployed, not making any money, so like I couldn't afford it, obviously. But now that I have it, I have only played World of Light.
Yes.
Yeah. I've only played the campaign World of Light. I've done a fair amount in it, actually. I've gotten a fair amount of fighters. Most of it I haven't found super challenging. If you have the right combo of like the spirits and
fighter.
Yeah.
If you have the right fighter with the right spirits, it's not that bad.
Yeah, exactly. There are like a couple of matches that like I've been okay, I'm gonna come back to this because it's not working.
Yeah, 100%. Don't feel bad if you need to do that. Some of the boss fights there are kind of tough too. Some of them.
Yeah, I did the Bowser one. Well, I started the Bowser one. I did that like 4 or 5 times with like some different combinations, and I couldn't do it. So I'm like, okay, I'll come back and do this later. But not finding it super challenging. Like overall, I'm enjoying it. It's like the only other Smash game I've played is Smash for the Wii U. Zero Suit Samus was my main on Wii U, which is why I have an amiibo of her there. So far in World of Light, I have been using a mix of Kirby, Marth, and Lucario.
So you're still early on then. You have, if I'm right, I think you're still early-ish on. It's been a while since I've done World of Light, so I don't know why I thought you got characters pretty quickly in it, and like in regards to like the game's starting roster. I mean, they're at 80. I think they'll be at 82 after the next character gets announced. So that means that 6 minus 6 and 5 is 11. I think that means the game started with 71 characters. So 72. 72 if you include whatchamacallit, Piranha Plant. So
Yeah,
I thought you got a whole lot of characters much faster than that.
If that's the case, I am not as far as through the campaign as I thought it was.
And again, the map is actually pretty big. It's a
Yeah,
pretty sizable map and all like that. And I mean, if you go to like obviously if you go to like the normal versus mode, they have like a selection of starting characters there.
Yeah.
But just in terms of who you start with in World of Light, obviously you just start with Kirby, and then there's Martha Lucario. I remember because I think the characters you get depends on what section you go through first
yeah,
at the starting area. So yeah, I just thought you got more, that you get more characters early on. I thought you get them like a bit more quickly at the start. It's been a while since I played it though.
yeah. And I have no frame of reference for like how quickly I should be getting characters because I haven't seen any gameplay or like people playing through it for the campaign. But yeah,
you like your World of Light though.
Yeah, I mean it's like I say, the only other Smash game I played was on Wii U, and I never did the campaign in that. I don't even know if I had one.
I was about to say, did it even really have one? As far as I remember, I don't really think it had a campaign.
Yeah.
The last one that I know of that really had a campaign was Brawl. And like I said last week, Brawl's campaign, I think, is the best. I mean, Brawl's single player as a whole is the best single player in Smash Ultimate in terms of quality. Ultimate beats out the whole series single player in terms of quantity. There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There's just, how fun it is and how good it is depends on how much you enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not really enjoying it so far, don't get me wrong. Like it's definitely fun. It's a Smash, as much as like a Smash game is fun by yourself. Like it's good. I think that's my overall point in this. But yeah, I'm excited to play more. Maybe I'll get Switch Online and you can absolutely destroy me in Smash one day. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have anyone to play it with online. My best friend has Smash, but I don't know if he still plays it a lot. But we'll see.
Maybe he will after this next character comes out. Character reveal on Tuesday, October 5th. People are really hoping. A lot of people are hoping it's Sora, and I gotta tell you, I hope it is too. But I'm not betting on it. But I will do this because I did this last time. I know it was the last time we had like a Square Enix event or something. I made this bet. I put this on Twitter. And I'm going to do it again now. I'll say it now, and I'll post it on Twitter again as well. If the character reveal turns out to be Sora, I will play all of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I will do that if the character is Sora. Now, Keiran, you don't understand this.
Nope.
You don't have the context for this. If I win this bet, I also lose. So I want to win, but I don't want to win at the same time. Because if I win, I have to play my least favorite game in that entire series. That game is so... I just hate that game with a passion. And I've never beaten it. If I win this bet, though, Sora is actually coming to this game. I will play the game to completion, and I will hate myself for it. I will hate myself for getting Sora. I'll be happy we got Sora, but I'll hate myself for making this stupid bet. So yes. Last time I made the bet on Twitter, I said it was some Square Enix event, I think. And I was like, if Kingdom Hearts 4 is announced here, or the next mainline Kingdom Hearts is announced, I'll play it. And I tweeted when I did that, I was like, I know this is a safe bet because I know it's not going to happen, but I think there's some fun in this. Yeah. And then afterwards, I was like, I knew it was going to happen, but I think I will do this at like every future Square Enix event where like I think there's a chance I might just be like, do I want to roll the dice with this bet again? It's like I'm playing Russian roulette with myself. I am playing Russian roulette with myself essentially, and I hate it, but I like the thrill at the same time.
My money is still on Reggie Fils-Aimé being added as a character into Smash.
Oh man, it's fine. I saw some people say like they should just no matter who was announced, there's going to be a lot of people upset with who this final character is. So I've seen some people say, so Nintendo should just go ahead and upset everybody and have the final character be a Pokemon. That would be a Pokemon or like a Waluigi or something.
Yeah,
like the Waluigi memers would be happy, but everyone would be like, "Are you serious right now? Are you serious?" especially if it's a Pokemon. People are gonna be like, no one will be happy if it's a Pokemon. People are gonna be like, really?
It's
Really?
Magikarp.
Bruh. Seriously. Let it be Sora. Please and thank you, Sakurai. I've made my bet. If it is Sora, I will play all of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I will hate myself, but I will do it.
Okay. Now talk about yours.
As you can see, Karen's been really excited for me to talk about this thingy. And I kind of hinted at this like over a month ago, really. I hinted at this in August. And then I hinted at this again to Kieran some time ago and should have lied, but I didn't because I was stupid. And I easily could have lied and gotten away with it because I'm a good liar. So how should I say this? You know what? I'll just say it. I now have an Xbox Series X.
Yep.
Finally do. This is the very first time that I have ever owned all 3 consoles in my entire life. I've always wanted to have an Xbox as well as, you know, PS3 or PS2 or PS4. But just one, would never be able to make that argument to my mom when I was younger. And then 2, during the during like the Xbox One generation, part of it, I didn't have the money to do it. And then when I did have the money, I was like, it don't really make sense for me to do that. So no, I'm not doing it. But now the time has come, different time in my life where, you know, I want to be able to play as many games as I can and have knowledge of all these different games. And I could also afford to do it. Yep. So I did it. I ordered it back in August. It was supposed to come last Saturday. And no, it's supposed to come on the 18th. And of course, didn't. Day came, email, delayed. That's what I figured was going to happen. To my surprise, while I am out on the 25th, the last day that we recorded out, we didn't record on this 25th. We recorded on the 24th.
Yeah.
But the 25th, I'm out and about, and I see an email. I get a text from my bank saying, hey, your car's been charged. What do you mean? Look at the price. Look at the place. Wait a second. Hold on. Is it getting shipped? And yep, they said it's getting shipped. I'm like, okay, cool. When is it going to be delivered? The 26th. What? Delivered the very next day too? Okay. So I've had my Series X since Sunday. I didn't play that Sunday. I set it up, didn't play it or anything. I have downloaded The Artful Escape. I downloaded Final Fantasy 13 since it's on Game Pass. Woo woo! Which again, that now you guys have the context of why I was excited when 13 came to Game Pass, because I'd already ordered my Series X. I already had the order placed. I was happy. I'm like, yeah, let's get it. I can finally play this game. So I got that downloaded. I downloaded Art of Rally last night. That was on Game Pass. I started it for like all of 10 seconds and then didn't play. Because it's weird. I started it and it's like, which country are you from? Okay. What's your blood type? What? Why do you want to know my blood type for this racing game? Okay. And I properly closed it, but I do plan to go back into it and play it. And I downloaded Master Chief Collection because the only Halo games prior to now that I had ever played fully through were 4 and Reach. And I had only ever played part of 2, like the beginning part of 2, up to like the end of the first Arbiter mission. I'd only ever played a bit of 3's campaign, and I'd only ever played, I also played all of 1 earlier this year, like I talked about in the podcast. But I was like, you know what? I want to catch up. I've also played a bit of ODST in the past. I'm not going to do this time. I don't care to. So I said, you know what? Let's do Halo 2. So I played through Halo 2's campaign this week, and I enjoyed that a lot. That was fun. It was nice to actually get through the entire thing this time and not just, only up to a certain mission. And again, I already knew the story. Like I knew the ending of this game and stuff and everything. But it was still fun going through it. I like since it's Halo 2 anniversary, obviously it has like the better graphics and the blur cutscenes, which done really well. Super cool. I didn't even realize till halfway through the game that you can change the cutscenes to the original versions during the cutscenes, just like you can with the gameplay. So I knew you could do it with the gameplay. Didn't know you could do it with the cutscenes. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I always wanted to see them like the entire way through, like in the original. Not in the original, in the new versions. So that was fun. Halo 2 is a better game than 1 by like leaps and bounds. The level design is just so much better. Like, I will never forget just the library in the first game. And just being like, where am I going? Everything looks the same. All the hallways are the same. I'm just walking down this hallway. They make a left, and there's another room that looks just like the one I just left. Like Halo 1, so many of the levels, it's just like we are walking in hallways that are the same as all the others. We're in rooms that are the same as all the others. Halo 2, level design is better. You still have some hints of that, but it's way toned down.
Yeah.
I do think the one thing that I'm noticing in Halo 1 and Halo 2, I don't know if it'll be in Halo 3, is that it's also easy to get turned around in that game and not know where to go. Cause like it'll be like, all right, like this was before, waypoints or like, hey, go in this direction, like a little marker, be like, hey, this is the direction you need to go in, was like kind of standard in shooters and stuff. So you kind of either had to listen to hear what people said, hey, you gotta go this way, or you just had to kind of see the path, like, all right, I came in from that direction, so I think I need to go this way. So Halo 2 still has some of that from 1, but again, it's toned down, like it's better in 2. Also, I didn't realize that Halo 2, no subtitles during gameplay. Subtitles in cutscenes, but there's no option for subtitles during gameplay, which is a bit annoying for me because whenever I play a game, I like to have subtitles on during the gameplay. That way, if someone says something and I can't hear it or can't quite make it out over the sounds of destruction and chaos and gunfire, I can at least read what's being said, So in Halo 2, there were sometimes when I'm playing, I'm just like, I was able to make out what was being said, but at certain times I couldn't really catch everything this person was saying. So I was had to like assume what they said. So I was like, I'm interested that, they don't have that option there for Halo 2. I figured that they would have it, in the Master Chief Collection, but they didn't. It wasn't a game breaker or anything. I still enjoyed myself, still had fun with it. The 2 boss fights in that game are also just like, it's so silly. Like the first one, actually they're both with the Arbiter too. Like the first one where you're hunting down like the heretic guy or whatever.
Yeah.
And he does the clones. It was so easy because like I just shot both of his clones and then he ended up like being in front of me. I was like, sword cut. It was just like, fight over. All right. That's like, it was literally done in 30 seconds. I was like, that was way easier than I remember it being as a kid. Oh yeah, there is the regret boss fight as Master Chief. That one was easy though. It's just like jump on his ship and jump on his little hover chair, just punch him to death. That was easy. The last one though, against Tartarus, I'm not even gonna lie. The boss fight is fine, but I wasn't that big a fan of it because I was just like, do I shoot you when you're glowing? Am I supposed to only shoot you when you're not glowing? What do I need to do? So I was kind of shooting him and hoping for the best. And he ended up dying. I was like, all right, you're dead. It wasn't really clear, like, do I shoot you when you're glowing? Am I doing any damage to you or not? But I made it through. So I enjoyed that. I'm going to start Halo 3 sometime. I started the first cutscene. Like I got past the first cutscene of Halo 3. That game, going to that game from Halo 2 Anniversary is like it's a bit of an eyesore to say the least.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like Halo 3 came out 2007, and I'm really surprised that Microsoft did not like give this game a facelift for like its anniversary or whatever, because it does stand out. Halo 1 and 2 are like they got the HD facelift and everything. They got like a nice little visual upgrade. Whereas 3 is just like, Johnson's face looks good in 2, but 3 he looks a bit pudgy and all like that. But I'm looking forward to doing that one. That'll be fun. As a whole, with my Series X, I, like me and Karen talked about before the show, I might do a video like about my experience with it in like 2 weeks, something like that. I'm not quite sure. But as a whole with the Series X, one thing is heavy. I know people said it was heavy, but like I didn't realize how heavy it was until I actually took out the box. I was like, oh my God, this thing got weight to it. Like, I don't know if it's heavier than the PS5 or like just a tad bit lighter, but they are both weighty boys. One is weighty and long and tall. The other is weighty and short. So you both got weighty consoles there.
Yeah.
But I had sadly had to retire my PS3. Yeah, I put it in a box, put the controller in a box so that I could put the Xbox down where the PS3 was. And while I did that, I said, you know what? Might as well put the PS4 away too, because I had to unplug the PS4 to plug the Xbox in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got no purpose to just keep this sitting up here with the cords dangling around it. So the PS4 boxed up, controllers all put away. The controllers are actually for the PS4 in my drawer right here next to me because they couldn't fit in the box, but they've been retired. So just got the PS5, the Switch, and the Xbox Series X. But Series X is quiet. I think it's a silent beast. It's like interesting. All right, you are super quiet. I like that it's quiet. I like I like that it's quiet. Of course, Game Pass, that's cool and all. I mean, what can I say about Game Pass? The controller, it's cool. I like it. I don't know why. It feels like it's smaller than past Xbox controllers, but it could just be me just like misremembering because I don't really play Xbox that much prior to now. Like I never really did. I will say I do miss like the adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback from the DualSense.
Yeah.
Tell you, like, I promise you this much. I mean, maybe you'll feel differently about it than I do. But having the haptic feedback and the adaptive triggers, you get used to them after a while, and then it becomes second nature. But when you don't have it, it's noticeable. And you're just like, man, damn. Now, granted, the games I've been playing, it's not like it's been games that would have had it anyway.
Yeah.
Like these are older games, they would have had it, but like it's just like, man, I miss you. I miss you guys. So like I do think I'll still play most of my third-party games on my PS5 just because I really like I prefer PS5 anyway. I prefer the controller and stuff. I like it all that much more. Yeah. And like all my trophies and stuff are over there. I'd want to continue that stuff there. But the Xbox, I imagine that'll be the Game Pass machine, most likely. Any Xbox exclusives, that'll be over there. I started to download Scarlet Nexus over there, actually. I just don't know if I'm going to fully play it there, just because, again, I might want to play that on my PS5, and I think I will. But I did start to download it on my Xbox, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I downloaded maybe like 400 megabytes, and I put it on pause because I need to do something else. But the thing I also do, so I do and don't like this thing, and this will lead to my don't likes for the console so far. I don't know if it's just me. I do like that it seems like it downloads stuff faster than my PS5. I just have my LAN cable, so when I'm using the Xbox, I pop the LAN cable into my Xbox, and I use the LAN from my PS5 too. It seems like it downloads stuff faster than my PS5. I don't know. It could just be it does download the same speed and it just visually looks faster, but it seems like it does, and I like that. If it does, that's cool. I wish the PS5 downloaded things faster sometimes. But this leads into my dislikes. That being I'm not a fan of the console's UI. Granted, it's only been a week of me having it. I'm still trying to learn my way around stuff, but the UI is a mess. Like the home screen, again, I'm still learning it, but the home screen, it just seems like all cluttered and just like there's things everywhere. It seems like box overload in a sense. Yeah. It's just like, what is this? And I understand, like, all right, now the most recent thing is here and it pushes things back in order you used them. Okay, I follow that. Cool. It's just the way things visually are laid out. It's a lot, and it's not that clean and clear to understand. It's not that simple and clean. Kingdom Hearts reference. But then you dig into the settings, and it's like trying to find things in the settings is a bit difficult because, like we were talking before, I didn't know if the Xbox had HDCP on it like the PS5 does. Because in order to use my capture card, I have to disable HDCP on the PS5. Figured I would have to on the Series X. Looking at all kinds of settings, and I'm just like, where is it? I can't find it. Had to go on Google. Turns out it doesn't seem like it's on there. But like, still, I was just like, oh, okay. I thought it was somewhere, but I guess just like trying to find other things in the settings wasn't that easy and all.
Yeah.
Like the option, the shutdown options. The only two shutdown options it has are the instant on and then energy saving. Instant on is essentially the PS5's rest mode, and energy saving is, I believe, it's supposed to be the fully turning off your console. But the way they describe it there has to say, like, this one uses the least amount of energy, and it takes a bit longer to turn the system on. So it makes me think that the energy saving is still rest mode, but just a lower power version of the rest mode, instead of actually turning the console all the way off. So when I go to turn my system off, I just go into settings and I go to energy power and I just do full shutdown, because I'm not one who likes to, I don't keep my systems in rest mode unless I'm downloading something.
Yeah.
And like I'm doing other stuff. If I'm not doing that, I turn my stuff all the way off, because like there's no need for it to be on. It's just wasting energy and stuff. It's raising electricity bill. So I was just like, can we word this better? Because right now I kind of don't understand. I had to Google. I was like, which one does which? Like, what's the actual fully turn off thing? So I just do the full console shutdown. And then I guess when I go to turn it on, this is a real minor thing here. This is just a me thing, but it's a minor thing. I don't like that turning on the console with the controller is not a simple button press. What I mean by that is, here, actually, I'll show you right now. Hold on. I'm going to grab my controllers. So I'm going to have both these systems on, but it'll be for like just a moment. Actually, hold on. Let me grab my TV remote too, so I can turn the TV. So I can like take care of these things as soon as I turn them on. Give me like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn on my PS5, right?
Yep.
PS5, use up the PS button. Simple button press. Watch this. I'm going to just do a simple press. On. All right. One little press. Cool. The Xbox, I'm going to do the same thing. Just a simple press. It's not turning on.
No.
You see, I had to like, with the Xbox, I had to like push and hold it for like a second for it to turn on. And I don't like that. Because like the first times I'm just like, why is it not on? What the heck? Come on, turn on. And like getting used to that, I'm just like, no, I should just be able to press the button and you turn on. That's it. I shouldn't have to do this hold you down for a second thing. So I don't know, maybe that'll be a setting thing that I can change. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that either. It's, again, that's like I said, that's a real minor thing. That's definitely a me thing. But it's also a tad annoying. So there is that. Full shutdown, because, you know, not clear in the settings which one does the actual thing I want the Xbox to do and stuff.
I don't know if I don't think you would. You don't have like a Google Home device, do you?
I have an Echo.
I don't know if you can do it with an Echo, because if I do this just to demonstrate a little, because my Xbox is here, ignore the massive mess of wires. So my Series X is there. So I go, hey Google, turn my Xbox on. Should do it. There you go. That's like one way around that, I suppose, because as soon as I get into my room, I say, hey Google, turn my Xbox on. But off again. But maybe one way around that. I don't know if you can do it with Echo.
Yeah, I don't know. And I mean, again, like I said, it's not the worst thing. It's like literally, I just have to get used to holding it down for a second. That's all I have to get used to doing. But it's annoying that my PlayStation, I just go by the controller, just push it down and I'm good. Like I could do it as I'm walking. Whereas with the Xbox, I have to go stand there for a second and then keep it moving. And I'm just like, I didn't turn you on. That's right. You don't operate this way. You're annoying.
Yeah.
So that's a minor thing. That's a me thing. So yeah, so you get used to stuff. Also, why is capture on the Xbox only 30 seconds or a minute at max?
Yeah, I don't know.
That is so silly. The PS4 was doing full hours.
Yeah.
Like the PS5 was a full hour. Why is it only a minute at most? I mean, I haven't done any captures yet, but I was like fiddling around in settings, looking at stuff. I was like, what? It's so silly. Come on, guys. Come on, Microsoft. Figure that out.
Yeah, because I was thinking, just I'm going to be playing the Halo Infinite like insider test this weekend because I have access to that now, and I was gonna I was gonna record gameplay for it like similar to you do, and then I'm just gonna put it in the dock so you can watch it next week. But then I would have to unplug my Xbox to my monitor and plug it into my capture card, and then run a cable from my capture card to my monitor. And I'm just like, can I be bothered doing that? I mean, I will because I want.
You will do it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
yeah,
will. No, yeah, I will. But I'm like, it's such a hassle when I could easily, like, if they just increased the time I could record, I could just record on the Xbox and then like export it from my phone. So it was slightly, it's slightly annoying, but yeah, I don't know why they do that.
Yeah. Pro tip for you: you could just always keep your Xbox plugged into the capture card and have the capture card always plugged in to the monitor or whatever. That's what I do on my PS5. That's how I just have it always like that. That way, when I want to record, I could just boop.
I would do that, but my capture card is only 1080p and my monitor is 1440. So
you have to always downgrade.
So basically, I would always be playing in 1080p versus 1440 if I had it plugged in straight into the monitor.
I follow you. That could be annoying.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay. Well, yeah, those are my thoughts on Series X so far. Of course, like this is just my first week playing, and I haven't played any like Series X specific games. Even if the Master Chief Collection is enhanced, I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But, oh yeah, I forgot. Halo 2. Why is it dropping frames? Like, oh my god, it drops frames like crazy. Like there are moments in that game, right, where you're doing certain fights and like, I don't know if it's just because like maybe there's a whole lot on the screen, or even when you're not doing much. Like when you're driving the Scorpion across the tank in the city, right? Mine was smoking. I don't know why, but like when the smoke was on the screen at times, the frame rate would just drop. And like doing some of the levels, like doing certain fights and everything like that, like the frame rate would drop down from like 60 to like the 30s or maybe even into the 20s. And it was like, it happened. It wasn't like it was like a steady thing, but it was happening frequently. And I was just like, how is this happening with Halo 2 of all games?
Yeah.
Of all games, Halo 2. And again, it didn't ruin the game for me, but whenever it happened, I was like, this is annoying. This is not good.
Yeah, I can't say I experienced that, but I played Halo 2. I haven't played Master Chief Collection on my Series X, so I wouldn't be able to speak to that.
But yeah, this is my first week with the Series X. I haven't played anything specific to the Series X, so of course I'll be giving more impressions and stuff as I continue to play stuff on it and so on and so forth. Final thing I played this week though, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. Like we mentioned earlier, the second demo is out. I played about 2 hours last night. Apologies if you hear a vacuum in the background. My mom is vacuuming stuff. But yeah, I played it for about 2 hours last night. The demo has the original stuff, like the original mission from the first demo, and it has a new mission that you can do after that, and some extra story tidbits as well. You have to do the old stuff to do the new mission. I will say that the game looks better now visually. They definitely, I feel like they updated some of the models. Not saying that it's a grand leap forward. At its core, still kind of looks like a PS3 game visually to an extent, but like the lighting is so much better. So like the area in the first demo where the lighting was basically everything looked all gray and dour, everything. Now it's like it's actually sunlight. It's a nice sunny day out and stuff. Things visually look better. And then the second area, it's like in a forest and all. It looks nice. It's cool. Still trying to get through that. But you have more jobs available to you now in this demo, which is cool. Getting to toy around with them and stuff. And there's a moment in this demo, which people have been memeing to death online, where it just shows this game is just so weird. It's so weird. There's a part where it happens after you beat Chaos in the first part of the demo, in the first mission. You beat it, and it turns out like this girl was trying to like be the spirit of Chaos in a sense, right? excuse me. So you beat her, she's telling like her story, like, oh, why she was there and why she looked like chaos and stuff. And then your character, Jack, he's just like, BS. And he turns around, takes out a cell phone, and starts playing Limp Bizkit and just walks off. And the song just plays. And then they get outside, and then he stops the song and he's like, chaos is out there. I can feel it. And everyone's just like, he just pull out a cell phone and play Limp Bizkit? What is happening? So people have been memeing that scene and like changing the song to be like all types of other stuff. It's game is weird, man. But it still is actually surprisingly a fun time to play. The gameplay is actually interesting and has depth and fun, but the story is just so weird. The tone is all out there. It's gonna be an interesting game to say the very least.
Yeah. I'm probably not going to play it, but I have been seeing quite a few memes for it online.
Yeah, it's weird.
That will conclude our 27th episode of the Play to Win podcast. Thank you. I don't know why I went on with my voice. Thank you all very much for listening.
That was weird.
I think I've been talking too long. As always, go to our website, playtowingames.wordpress.com, where you will find all of our content, our review policy. We may occasionally post some stuff exclusively on there, so go and check that out. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at playtowingame, where you will get updates on the show. We post random stuff. It's a fun time over there. Subscribe to us on YouTube and take the notification bell so you know when new videos go live, like new reviews, new opinions, new reactions, new podcast episodes. Tyler, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at TylerMiller2496. I post a lot of stuff over there. Tweet about a lot of things, like and retweet all kinds of things that I find funny or interesting, so on and so forth. It's just a good time over there. Follow me there. I was gonna say something else, but I couldn't think of something else to say, so just follow me over there.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word. I post random stuff over there. Go follow it. Thank you all very much for watching, and we will see you all next week.
Have a great one, guys.